Hello and welcome to our fourth installment of the Ithaca College Opera Alumni Interview Series. My name is Louis Bavaro and I'm your host for today. Today I will be interviewing Michael Lewis, a graduate of the class of 2013. During his time at Ithaca, Michael was involved both on and off stage in the operas as a music director and accompanist, and in his senior year, Michael was the chorus master of Suor Angelica, while simultaneously being cast as the title role in Gianni Schicchi. How are you today, Michael?
I'm doing pretty well. How about you?
It's a good day out, nice weather. I can't complain. So diving right into this, what is your favorite Ithaca College memory?
Oh, when this was the first question, I was like, oh my God, what do I pick? Um, but thinking about it, like all of my fondest and favorite memories happened in Larry Dobler's choir class, which he's no longer there. He's since retired, but he made such an impact on me. Just being the kind person that he is, and I really learned how to embody music and make music really human in his class. Even though it was, a larger class than like a sight reading class or a sight singing or theory, I really felt like he was connected to each and every one of us, and he treated us very kind. Yeah.
No, that's awesome. And I'm sure that his teaching philosophy has definitely kind of seeped its way into yours, no?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Cool. So why don't you tell us more about your organization, Aural Compass Projects?
Sure. So Oral Company Projects is a nonprofit music organization that I started in 2019. It was just as I was leaving Arizona to come live here in New York. My partner, Cody Ray Cato, at the baritone, going to Bard College, so we moved across the country, and I was just freelancing as a pianist, and I thought, okay, well, this is a good time to start something like this, or so I thought. It's actually very difficult coordinating that with going across the country. But anyways, Aural Compass Projects is a nonprofit organization with a mission to perform and promote new and underperformed music, especially by composers that need better representation, whether they have been censored or whatever the case may be. We look to find those composers that need their voices lifted. So in this year, we're doing things a little different, as everyone is. So in our first year, we were primarily a live performance group, which can't happen so much right now. So we've shifted to a virtual season. Over the summer, we started a live talk show called What's the Tea with ACP, and our host, Elliot Page, interviews, sort of like this, interviews artists, mostly musicians because that is our organization, but sometimes we get some writers and some visual artists to join in on the conversation and just talk about their lives, how they've been handling this time, and what their plans are coming up. Along with this, we have a composition competition open to all students of composition. So we do require that they're not professional and getting lots of commissions already. But those who are students in school right now, they're welcome to apply. It is a vocal competition, so it's an art song competition. And then probably the biggest project that we have coming up. Oh, actually, do you know when this is going to go live on your page?
So, yeah, I believe we're going to post this for next week.
That's great. That's when we're gonna when we're going to talk about this. Okay, so this big project, um, it's called We Too Sing America, and it is an educational virtual series of there are 20 episodes on African American composers and poets who have contributed to American art song.
Yeah.
And so we have people like Daryl Taylor, who's the founder of the African American Art Song Alliance, Louise Toppin, who's an incredible scholar on all things African American music, Christine Jobson. So we have a panel of 20 people that we'll be interviewing and sort of putting together, I don't know what you want to call it, like a docu-series, basically. Each episode's going to be 20 to 30 minutes. And that will be available on YouTube, free to the public. And we probably have about 10 schools already sponsoring us that they'll get the first round of it before it goes public, so they can share it with their students. And then we have probably 4 or 5 performing, I'm going to call them mini recitals, because we're shifting our focus for this year, because we believe, and I believe, that there's no real replacement for live performance, but that doesn't mean we do without it. But there are organizations out there that are lucky enough to have the means to do things live, to do them outside, to have venues where you can be socially distanced. We just aren't one of them. So we'll be doing everything virtual on our end.
Yeah, no, I mean, that sounds phenomenal. I mean, that sounds like a really comprehensive project. I think that's awesome. And like I said, like, I can't even imagine how long it might have taken to assemble that panel, but that sounds like very interesting. And, we know the climate in today's society regarding like racial tensions. And so I think it's really neat that on behalf of your organization that you're taking time to really put African American music in that limelight. I think that's very important for young singers like myself, even those in high school and just younger, to see, what it is to explore about African American music that we tend to overlook a lot when we think of what it means to enter the classical and operatic realm. So I really appreciate that. I think that's, wow, that's so cool. Wow.
It's a huge project.
Yeah.
I don't know, a month and a half in with organizing everything and interviewing people, and we'll be working on it for a few more months, and it should be ready, fingers crossed, for the spring semester.
Yeah, well, I wish you all the best luck with that. I hope that goes well.
Yes.
I can already, like, that sounds like it's going to be a hit, so I'm excited, and I'll be looking out for that. But okay, so moving on, is there a role slash opera that you want to study but haven't gotten the chance to? If so, what would it be?
Oh my God, this question. I feel like there are so many, and I will probably leave out so many if I answer it. Pelléas et Mélisande, it comes to my mind first, by Debussy. So as an opera to learn, because I don't do roles too much anymore. I'm mostly focused on piano and collaborating with people. So I would say Pelléas et Mélisande is sort of in the forefront of my mind. Salome, I was working on an excerpt from Salome, and it's like mind-blowing how crazy it is, but just how good it is. Yeah, I really would love to learn that whole opera.
Yeah, and when was your first encounter with Salome, would you say?
I would say probably when I was at Ithaca. It wasn't a live performance, but I think it was part of like an assignment that we had in history of opera, and it was like the one of the final scenes, either like the Dance of the Seven Veils or like Johannan's head on a platter for Solomon. What? Just a crazy story, and then to have it be set by someone like Strauss, who can be like so over the top and so dramatic. Um, yeah, it's like a perfect pairing, that story and his music.
Yeah. I don't know too much about that work myself. I mean, I have heard a little bit about it, but yeah, I think, you know, it's one of those works that it's like it's a lot to take in all at once.
Yeah.
But it's very, yeah, it definitely, it makes you feel something. It's like, wow, this is, in ways like the height of how we can use dramatic art forms to really, really have a lasting impact. So yeah, that was a good choice. Good choice. Okay, so you're an accompanist. So you work with many singers in a variety of settings. What would you say is your singer pet peeve?
Um, so my singer pet peeve. I don't really. I don't like that phrase, pet peeve. Um, but I guess something that singers do a lot that I wish they wouldn't is in coachings. Uh, well, not just in coachings. I know this is sort of like any time, but in coachings, they can often be overcritical of themselves, and we all can as musicians and just as human beings. But it's very common for singers to focus on all the things that are going wrong or the negative things. Um, but that doesn't help anything to focus on those things. I mean, it's good to be aware of them. It's good to be aware of where you need the growth. But when you're in a coaching, I mean, that's sort of the point of the coach is to point
Right.
those things out and help you with those and find new ways to think about how you approach things. So when the singer is also being critical on themselves, there's not a whole lot of room for growth if they're in that mindset. So I would say pet peeve is not being in an open-minded space.
Yeah,
Like,
no, I mean, yeah, that's a good way to put it. Like as a vocalist myself, you'll be in rep class and you'll be like, "Oh man, that was awful." And you'll have a whole studio be like, "No, no, no, like we promised it doesn't sound that bad." But there's still just a sense of like when it's your voice, you have nothing to compare it to. Like you can like understand technique and you can hear other people sing, but it's like it's one of those things that, like as a vocalist, you have to get used to the sound of your own voice really not being so terrible. But I agree. I've been guilty of that myself. But yeah, no, that's a good way to put it. Good way to put it.
and another thing that came to mind when I saw that, it's not my pet peeve, but I know it is others' pet peeve, is calling us accompanists. Some people
Uh,
prefer collaborative pianist or just pianist. You're always safe calling a pianist a pianist. I don't mind being called an accompanist, but I know some people get
yeah.
peeved by that.
No, that's a very good point. Any singers who are gonna watch this definitely need to take notes on that, because that's it's a subtle but important distinction in how we use our language. You
Yeah,
know, yeah,
and list your collaborators on everything you do.
absolutely,
Also,
yes, yeah. Give credit where credit is due. Absolutely, absolutely. All right, and so our final question. Do you have any advice for young artists interested in this career path?
hmm, uh, yeah, I would say stay in touch with those people that lift you up, those people that believe in you. Um, and this is coming from someone who hasn't been great about staying in touch throughout my whole career. But those times when I do reach out to someone who has been a supporter in the past, or maybe just an acquaintance, it's usually led to something greater. It's rekindled a relationship that once was there, and that grows to more connections. I mean, it's such a cliche, but like it's all about connections, and that doesn't mean like just knowing people. It means having relationships with them and being genuine. And then my other piece of advice would be, don't be afraid to make your own path, because I would say I have not followed like a traditional path. Although, for pianists, I don't know if there really is a traditional path, but yeah, don't be afraid to break the mold.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that is excellent advice. Thank you for that. Yeah. So yeah. Well, that concludes our interview. Thank you so much for your time, Michael, and I hope you are doing well.
Thank you so much, Louis.